Good morning. Hello, hello. No way. Elon Shamir. No way. Hi, Elon. No way. Glad you're here. Well, welcome to Unity of Fort Collins, everyone. Take a minute to get us settled. Yay. Here we are. Well, welcome to Unity of Fort Collins. It looks like we have a number of new faces here today, so we're glad to see you. If you're new to Unity of Fort Collins and would like us to plunk a welcome packet in your hand, please raise your hand and one will appear. And you handed some already. And welcome to the folks online. I have had conversations in the last month or so with lots of folks who see us only online. So it's hard to know when you're sitting in these pews that we have a thriving online community. And so anyway, welcome to the folks online. Our speaker today is our own Nancy Hughes, which is always a treat, so thank you, Nancy. For those of you who are new to Unity, we have two spiritual leaders, Reverend Jim and Reverend Sharon, and they speak twice a month. And in between times, we have folks from our own community speak. And so it's a very shared experience here. So we hope you like it. Nancy's one of our favorites. Dale Pettigrew's doing the reading, and our own wonder, our own Miss Wonder, our own delightful wonder, Elise, is our music today. We have a thriving prayer chaplain program, and we have moved that now to having a prayer chaplain available after the service if anybody would like a moment of prayer. So Anisha, can you stand and wave, Anisha? We'll be in the library after the service if you'd like a moment to join in prayer. Council meeting today at 11:30, so we keeping on visioning what's next for our community. Salad of the Soul, folks, do you want to come up?
Good morning. I'm Kimber Hawes. Joellen, what are you doing?
I'm eating salad.
Yeah, but right now, up here on stage? Are you okay?
I think so.
Then what are you doing?
You're going to talk about salad for the soul, and I want to help you.
Oh, well, okay, but I've got it from here.
No.
Uh,
I want to make sure that you get all the details right. Do I have salad in my teeth? No. Okay.
Anyway, next Sunday.
It's the 5th Sunday of the month. Usually there are just 4.
Yeah, that's right. It's Unity Potluck Sunday. That's why I chose it for our annual fundraiser.
That's right. It's a potluck and a fundraiser.
Yep.
So what does that mean exactly?
Well, people bring salads and sides. We all eat together, and those who can make a donation to Vegetable Connection. The Vegetable Connection provides a fresh local CSA share of vegetables to low-income families weekly for 20 to 22 weeks of the growing season. The goal of the Feeding Families program is to increase the access to fresh, locally grown vegetables, knowledge of food topics, and community engagement. The goal this year, we are fundraising for next summer. So the goal this year to donate for next summer is $700. Low-income families of up to 200% of the federal poverty line receive a vegetable share purchased from a local CSA. And what is a CSA? It's community-supported agriculture. For example, there's Garden Suite, there's the Growing Project, and Native Hill, just to name a few. Each family picks up, as I mentioned earlier, each family picks up a vegetable share weekly. They also contribute to the cost of the vegetables on a sliding fee scale, and also can volunteer as part of their payment.
Excellent, mon ami. So that's next Sunday, July 30th, after the service.
Potluck fundraiser.
Fundraiser potluck.
And thank you.
There's a sign-up sheet coming around, and bring.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. It was suggested to bring a leftover container, because often we have leftovers, and we don't want those delicious salads to go to waste. Thank you. I'll send a sign-up sheet around, and we'll make a U. Thank you. I'll start it over here.
Thanks, you all. Susan, is Susan here? Would you come up and join us just briefly? Susan is the Montessori teacher who has appeared and is the teacher of our kids' camp. So we just wanted you to meet her briefly.
So happy to be here. 75 years ago, Unity Village in Missouri invited a Montessori teacher to start a school in Missouri. This was the first organized community that asked for a certified teacher who was trained by Maria Montessori. Her name was Elizabeth Kaspari. She was my teacher, and I am proud to carry on what she passed on to all her students, which is that Montessori is for every child individually to seek their purpose, not only in the educational field, but the spiritual field. So I'm happy to have this camp. We have some pictures that I just sent to Jim to promote what we've been doing, which was a building camp for girls, and that was 2 weeks ago. And they made a workbench. They learned how to use power tools, and they felt very successful afterwards. So if you are interested or can tell someone else, we still have spots open for Unity children, and I'd love to have them be a part of the community. Thank you.
Susan is a gift that plopped in our lap. And so we're hoping to have this be the first of many cooperative adventures with Susan. Thank you.
I'll be short because we have lots of announcements apparently. Just wanted to, 3 things about the bookstore. We have in a bunch of new titles, so we're starting that process of bringing in some new books for you all, so please check them out. If you didn't pick up a 20% off coupon, they're also in the bookstore. They're only good till the end of July, but you can reuse them, so use it this week, use it next week. It's not just for books. You can use it on the hoodies and the hats and the cups as well. If you didn't get a survey or didn't turn one in or just were thinking about it, I have more here that I can hand out, or they'll be at the front desk. But we'd love to hear what you guys are reading, what teachers and subjects you want to have books about. It's on your spiritual journey, of course, but we want to hear about those from you so we can stock the kinds of books that you guys are interested in. Okay. Kathy?
Good morning. The musician schedule has been a little switched up because of summer needs, But starting next week and for 3 weeks, the choir will be singing. So if you're in the choir or if you'd like to be, Monday night, 6 to 7 for the next 3 weeks. Thanks.
Okay. On the back board there's some bird of paradise flowers. They're fake. But it's to draw your attention to the Let's Get Together board. And we haven't had a lot of people post things up there, so we've posted some stuff. And the first thing that's going to happen, if you want to, is Tuesday at 10, tea or coffee on our deck. My phone number's back there, so if you're interested, that's this Tuesday, just one time. And then there's some things about biking, and I'm not sure what the other two are, so check them out. We have postponed the picnic in the park until the 9th because of it's so close to Salad for the Soul. So, no, our home back porch. Yeah, so you have to call for the address. Then I know you're coming. So, okay, that's it. Thanks.
All right. Whew, lots going on here. Let's take a big old deep breath. And we'll join in our unity blessing. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I guess I have a little announcement too. My new duo just got a fun gig at Stout Studios next Friday, if anybody's interested. At Stout Studios, I actually don't have the information for you, but come and talk to me and I can forward it to you. Now, everybody, please join along. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, together in love. We are many textures, we are many colors, each one different from the other, but we are entwined with another. One great tapestry weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, together in love. We are different instruments playing our own melody, each one tuning to a different key, but we are all playing in harmony in one great symphony. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, together in love. A moment ago, none know our unity, only diversity. Now the Christ in me, the Spirit in me, in one great family. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together in love. One more time. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love. And now we're reading from Dale.
Oh, I get it now. Okay. I'm Dale, aka Dahlia, and I am so pleased to be part of this community. So, this reading Nancy forwarded on to me, The Woodcarver Tale, a Taoist tale from the teachings of Chuang Tzu, a Chinese master. King, the master carver, made a bell stand of precious wood. When it was finished, all who saw it were astounded. They said it must be the work of spirits. The Prince of Lu said to the master carver, "What is your secret?" King replied, "I am only a workman. I have no secret. There is only this. When I began to think about the work that you commanded, I guarded my spirit, did not expend it on trifles that were not to the point. I fasted in order to set my heart at rest. After 3 days of fasting, I had forgotten gain and success. After 5 days, I had forgotten praise or criticism. After 7 days, I had forgotten my body with all its limbs. By this time, all thoughts of your highness and of the court had faded away. All that might distract me from my work had vanished. I was collected in the single thought of the bell stand. Then I went to the forest to see the trees in their own natural state. When the right tree appeared before my eyes, the bell stand also appeared in it, clearly, beyond doubt. All I had to do was to put forth my hand and begin. If I had not met this particular tree, there would have been no bell stand at all. What happened? My own collected thought encountered the hidden potential of the wood. From this live encounter came the work, which you ascribe to the spirits.
Don't let your mind get weary and confused. You will be still, don't try. Don't let your heart get heavy, child, inside you. There's a strength that lies. Don't let your soul get lonely, child. It's only time, it will go by. Don't look for love in places, faces on talents inside your kindness. Be here now, here now. Be here now, here now. Don't lose your faith in me, and I will try not to lose faith in you. Don't put your trust in walls, 'cause walls will only crush you when they fall. Be here now, here now. Be here now, here now. Don't let your mind get weary and confused. Your will be still, don't try. Don't let your heart get heavy, child, inside you. There's a strength that lies. Be here now, here now. Be here now, here now, here now. Be here now, here now.
This is for later. Okay, what do I do here? Good morning. How exciting to be here. How fun.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Elise. Appreciate that so much. I love being here now. All right. Courage to live. What in heaven's name would that mean? Courage to live. Well, there's a story. There's always a story. I have been reading a book that my daughter gave me. Oh, it's been a few months ago. That she's not here today, is she not? Okay, I can talk about her. She gave it to me a few months ago, and the book is called The Courage to Teach, and it's by a gentleman named Parker Palmer. She gave this book to me because I had some questions with my teaching, and I wanted to change a few things and learn. I've been a teacher my whole life. You could just ask my little brother. I'd go to school, and then I'd come home, and he'd have his school star, you know. So it was one of those situations. So I've been a teacher my whole life, and I have loved it. But in his book, Parker, and I'm off here, Parker talks about how the industry, the teaching field is getting so difficult to be in. And the reasons of why it's kind of difficult to be in because of all of the expectations and the roles and all of the, especially since 2001 with No Child Can Be Left Behind Act, that really, all the standardized testing, everything reaches for that. And Susan is very aware of all this, aren't you? And thank you for thank you for Montessori. I love it. But anyway, all of that has made it very, very difficult to teach and to reach kids. And this is what the book is based on. And so a couple of weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, she goes, "Mom, did you ever decide what you were going to do for your talk?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm using the book you gave me." Well, she thought she was just letting me borrow it. She didn't realize she was giving it to me. So anyway, that kind of changed. But so I said, "Yeah, I'm going to use that." And I said, "The talk is called the Courage to Live." And she looked at me like I had just grown 3 heads or something as to how I would take that information and make it now into the Courage to Live. She didn't get it. Did you need me, Richard? Or are you okay? Okay. All right. So it was really kind of funny because she was really pretty shocked about it. And I thought, but you know your nerdy mom. You know me. You know I can take anything that happens in life and make a story of it or do a talk on it or see that it really is all about life that we're talking about. We go through these same struggles. Every single day we go through these struggles. We go through the struggles of being afraid to show up, because that's what he talks about further in the book, is how to show up for the students, how to make the classroom engaging and exciting and fun so that they want to learn, they want to be there, they're participating. But that's a real scary place to be. And I know it probably doesn't sound like it should be, but it is, because you have to show up. You have to be there, and you have to show up. And to show up means you're putting yourself out there. You're going to be vulnerable. You're opening yourself up to some criticism. None of us like that. And especially today with social media, oh my gosh, how much criticism and critiquing and bashing there can be. So it's really a very, very scary situation at times. But don't we go through that in life as well? Maybe not like that exactly. But isn't it difficult to show up? It's really hard to just show up and be real. Now, we can show up, and I can easily show up as my identity, and I can feel very comfortable in doing that. But you ask me a question, or you turn the conversation into something that I don't know a lot about, and I start shaking. I mean, I can fall apart, and I think we all have experienced things like that. We get out of our comfort zone, and our comfort zone is always in our identity, for the most part. What we identify with, what we see, what we're comfortable with. We don't like exposing ourselves. We don't like putting ourselves out there. So I can see those very same fears inside of me. I don't like being criticized. You know, and I've said this to Sharon, when I joined the prayer chaplain program, I was scared to death. oh my gosh, am I going to say the right thing? What would happen if I said something wrong? I'm going to look so stupid. God, I'm going to just look so stupid. Or standing up here, I'm going to fall on my face, you know. We always have those internal things that'll just kind of eat at us and make us feel like, ooh, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm such an idiot. Now, thankfully, my list is a tiny bit shorter than it used to be, but there's still a list. There's still stuff that'll get me. I tell people I want more connections in life. I want more deep conversation. I want to do some risk taking. I want to be vulnerable. And then I go, well, maybe not. I think. It sounds good. So then I have to go, okay, which part of me wants that? I want that connection. I want that risk taking. I want that excitement in my life. And then the part of me that's going, maybe not. So what I'm actually showing myself is how much do I want this versus how much do I want this? How much do I want to protect myself versus how much do I really want to take that risk? And that's what's going to win. Whichever's got the most strength behind it, whatever's got the most passion behind it, whatever's got me behind it is what's going to happen. But all of that is who we are. We all go through that turmoil within us. It's a constant, and it happens to us. It's such a silly little thing. When I was moving here, I had a cat. Well, I couldn't bring my cat here because the place I was moving to wouldn't allow me to have an animal. I was renting. And the fact that we had coyotes in the backyard. And it was like, you know, I had the choice of either finding my cat a good, loving home or having him eaten by a coyote. Let me see. Which am I going to choose? Well, obviously, I'm going to choose to find a good home for the cat. So I put it on social media. I put it on my Facebook, and I had more people bombard me with, how could you do that? How could you give this cat up? How could you, that's a commitment for a lifetime. How dare you do that? And I'm going, what? So, and I actually wrote them back. I said, so you would rather me have the cat eaten by a coyote? Okay, all right, I get your point here. You know, it's ridiculous. But the guilt and the shame that was trying to be projected onto me over such a simple little thing was just humongous. It was craziness. All right. So Ram Dass, let me get to this first. We talk about that pull that we have in ourselves, and we talk about the desires and the pull, and we talk about what we're doing in life. Everything that is inside of us is outside, and everything that is outside is inside. Does that make sense? It's all a weaving pattern. Thank you for weave. It's all a weaving pattern. It's inside, it's outside, because it's all one. Ram Dass said that we must see something in ourselves before we can see it in the world, or it's simply judgment. Think about that. If we don't see it within ourselves first, and we see it in the world, it's simply judgment. But what changes when we see something within ourselves first? What's that point? What changes? Anybody want to give me an answer on that? It moves us from judgment to the word I was looking for. It moves us to compassion, doesn't it? Isn't that huge? It moves us from judgment to compassion because we can relate to it. We can experience it. In all of our live encounters, which I enjoy the wood carver tale, because he had to go through the same things we go through, did he not? And then when he finally went to the forest, he had this live encounter. It wasn't he was out there looking for something. It found him. And that's the way I think life works. Life finds us if we are open to it and allowing it to find us. But in our experiences, we do find the compassion. We find the oneness. We find that we're all the same and we're all looking for the same. We find our weaknesses. We find our strengths. And as we see them in others, we can enjoy that. Not enjoy it and they're going, oh, look at her. Yeah. Okay. But we're enjoying it because we understand it. We can relate to it. Not in a way that we're being sympathetic, but in the way that we're being compassionate and understanding. Judgment is our divided self. Compassion is our inner self working with all of us. Now, Muji says we cannot see freedom. We can only see from freedom. So we have to recognize it. We have to be there and recognize it within ourselves before we can see it. And St. Francis says, what you're searching for is where you're searching from. It's all the same. It's all the same. There is no separation. I'm kind of a Muji fan. You're going to hear this. I heard an interesting metaphor by Muji the other day. And it was talking about the merging into oneness. Now, some of us would like to think that we have that instantaneous. It's gone. Yeah, we're right there. I haven't experienced that. I've experienced it trickle by trickle by trickle. And I think most of us kind of do. No big epiphany, no big, spiritual experience that completely just, shook me to my limbs and shook me to my toes and everything was working out beautiful from there. I wasn't one of those. I wish I had been. I wasn't one of those. It's been 45 plus years of working on self and digging through self and constantly working. Well, anyway, he was talking about merging into oneness is like placing a piece of ice in a cup of warm water. Now, the clump of ice is going to slowly melt. It's going to slowly dissolve in the warm water. And we can see it kind of slowly resolving, or slowly dissolving, and slowly changing. But at that very last minute, when that little, have you ever tried to watch it? When that very last little tiny chip of ice transforms. It's like it just was. It was never anything but that, because that's all it is. It showed in a different form, but it wasn't different. It was the same. It's the water. But I think it's really interesting to try to catch that last little tiny glimpse as it just fades, as it fades into and changes the form. As I said in The Tale of the Woodcarver, the master carver had to go through a lot, did he not? But he had to recognize all of these obstacles in himself that was going to possibly stop him from being able to do the carving of the bell stand. He had to get rid of, what all was it? All right, Dale, you want to come back and read it? Let's see here. He had to guard his spirit. Well, guarding our spirit means what, would you think? Guarding our thoughts? Guarding our thoughts would be fear, possibly, yes. But we have to guard the spirit, knowing that, that's where it is. But we have to guard it and take care that our thinking does not go off in different areas. He had to fast in order to set his heart at rest. What would fasting represent? Is that kind of a cleansing? Yeah, it's a cleansing. So he had to cleanse his body and his mind to set his heart. And he had fasted for like 7 days. And what he was working, he was getting rid of, he'd forgotten about gain and success. These no longer mattered to him. He had forgotten about his body and all of his limbs. Those no longer mattered. And he got collected in one single thought. And that one single thought was what he had been commissioned to do or commanded to do. And that was simply bringing forth the bell stand. And they're going, oh my God, this is so astounding. This is beautiful. But did he do it, or did he allow it to be done through him? I think he allowed it to be done through him. Even when he went out to look for the tree, He didn't go out looking for the right tree. He went out to see the trees in their natural environment and allow the right tree to show up to him. And when he saw that tree, he was then able to what? He saw the bell stand in the tree. It was just there. It was a part of it. And kind of like what David says about Michelangelo says about David. All he did was take away what didn't belong. So I get the same idea with this. He simply carved away what didn't belong in that bell stand. So it was allowing the Spirit to flow through him. And that's a really important place to be and a really important part. So I call this courage because I love the word courage, the courage to live. Courage, according to Webster's, is when this heart is the seat of intelligence and feeling. The heart becomes the seat of who we are. Now, does that mean we don't use our minds? Does that mean we don't use our bodies? Just like the wood carver? Of course we do. We have to use all of us. That's the important part of it. But it's where the heart is the seat of it. It comes through the heart, through the mind, and through the body. We're going to teeter-totter back and forth, aren't we? And that's okay. Because all we have to do when we find ourselves off a little bit is we just have to be aware that we're off. And we have to recognize where our attention is. And we have to go from there. It's important that we always meet ourselves where we are. Don't try to chastise yourself or force yourself to be somewhere where you're not at that moment. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. David Hawkins, in Letting Go, sees courage as being a very critical point in the rise of consciousness in humanity. Courage, according to Dr. Hawkins, is the dividing line between our lower emotions and our higher emotions. He calibrates courage at like around 200. Now, 200 is very important. Anything under 200 is low and can be critical. Things like guilt and shame and anger and hatred and all of those emotions are calibrating way below 100, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, I think guilt calibrates like right about 20 or something. So courage at 200 is 10 times stronger in our lives, 10 times more vibrant, 10 times more energizing than guilt, than shame, than any of these other things that we eat ourselves up with. Courage is saying, I can do this. I can be excited about life. I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to do that deep dive and let go of those old points of view, and I'm willing to become self-empowered. At the level of courage, effective action is possible. Below that, it's not, because we're just so muddied with the anger and with all of the lower vibrations. So at that point, effective action is possible. I've got a little Zora story I wanted to say here just quickly. Even just a change of vibration. We don't have to say anything. We don't have to do anything. By simply being, we can change vibration. My granddaughter, who is 5 years old, who was visiting last week, is taking some medicine, antibiotic for a tooth problem that she's having. And this kid can scream. Trust me, this child can scream. She's got the lungs on her. She was screaming. Well, her mom and dad were crushing the pill up and putting it in, I think it was raspberry jam or something that they thought, that's really going to do it. That's going to entice this kid. And she was having a fit, not having it at all. And mom and dad were both just going, I've had enough. Zora, take the medicine. You know, they're at that point. You can feel the energy everywhere in that point. And I thought, do I walk in? Do I not walk in? It's my son and his wife. And I'm thinking, what do I do here? So I just decided to walk into the room. I didn't have to say a word. I didn't even have to look. All I did was, I sort of looked. All I did was walk in the room, and Zora looked at me, and I just went like that. I did do that. She took the medicine. Now, did I have anything to do with that? No, I had nothing to do with that. It was the fact, because the second I walked in the room, the vibration changed. Immediately changed. Immediately changed. Because a new vibration had entered, and it kind of disrupted what had been going on. It stopped it a little bit. We all can experience that, and we do experience that on a daily basis. All right. If you're thinking about living with courage or courage to live, there are some things that you need to know about. One, you cannot be afraid of any question. Nothing. You have to be open to all. Two, you've got to introduce your mind to your heart. Get them to know each other a little bit better. And let your heart take that seat place. Number three, understand that the mind is under the influence of a very powerful drug called identity. Totally empowers us. Four, stop trying to make the life work so that everything works in your favor. It's not going to happen all the time. And we have to be open. Five, be aware of where your attention is focused. That's really, really key. And number six, all of life is watched from one point. One point. And that one point is within you. I talked a little bit earlier about how everything is inside and outside. It's all one. So I brought little strips of ribbon. If you can find one of your little strips of ribbon, they're on the aisles in the middle there. Pass them out, because I want to take a look at something. Everybody that wants to play with me for a moment. All right. In our spiritual quest for growth and understanding, there can be a shadow side to this. I spent a number of years in this shadow side. This is a side that I know very well. So I want you to just do a circle with your piece of ribbon. And when I place it down, and you can see it, there's a dividing wall here, is there not? We have an inside and we have an outside of our circle. Now sometimes we think in our spiritual growth that living inside this circle, we're so protected. We are protected. Nobody can get in. Nobody can hurt us. And we think that our ideas are very spiritual. We think that we're learning and we're growing, but everybody else is out here. So what we're actually doing is judging. Because if we exclude anyone or anything or any challenge, we're living in that shadow of righteous judgment. And it is a huge shadow. And there are lots and lots and lots of people living in that right now. So many that are afraid to see out of themselves. This is a very comfortable little group. We're all like-minded. We think the same. We're good friends. We don't want anybody out here coming in, though, because they're going to screw up our group. And that can happen. It's righteous judgment. All right, now, take your strip again. Those of you that have one. And take it, and I want you to turn it either 3 times or 5 times. You have to do an odd number. Turn one side of it a half turn, say 3 times. And then bring it back, if you can get through the tape, bring it back and connect it. And then look at what you've built, what you've done. It wants to go everywhere. What is this? Anybody knows what it's called? It's an infinity sign, isn't it? It's also called a Mobius strip. Now, do not ask me the mathematics behind the Mobius strip. There's no way I'm going to have that answer for you. It's one of those questions that you can ask, but I'm not going to answer it. But this is an infinity strip, is it not? What's significant about this infinity strip? Exactly. There's no inside or outside to it. It's all one, is it not? If you run your finger, they say if you put an ant on it, that ant's going to travel and it's going to go inside and it's going to go back outside. There is no inside and outside. It's all one. It's all the same. That's us. We are an infinity strip. We are infinity. And everything is crucial, is important. It's all who we are. So the message is, whatever is inside us continually flows outward to help form our world. And whatever is outside of us continuously flows in to help form our lives. It's life itself. There is no inside out, but rather two sides that keep co-creating each other. It's that constant flow. It's that co-creating. We're running short of time here, I know. We'll close it up here. So the work depends on us. We can either choose, we're going to walk this, whether we like it or not. Okay? This is called life. This is the way it is. Whether or not we are cognizant of it is up to us. So we can choose to sleepwalk through our Mobius strip called life, or we can choose to walk wide awake with courage on our Mobius strip of infinity called life. Our choice. Thank you.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is everywhere, and every thought's indeed a prayer.
Okay, since we're running a little bit later today than normal, Anne, is it okay for us to take a few minutes for meditation? Okay, all right. I'm going to shorten this a little bit, but I did want to kind of I've talked before about it in some classes that Sharon and I were teaching with Wayne Dyer class about the japa meditation. And I just want to kind of just use it today for just a few minutes. We won't do a long thing because we just don't have the time for it. the understanding of this is that truth is not in that pendulum swing, but truth rather is in the middle. It's between. It's between the thoughts. The truth and your source is in between. So in this japa meditation, what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask you just to relax, close your eyes, take a deep breath. And I'm going to give you a word. Now, the way I do it when I'm doing this is I'm going to give you 2 words, one at a time. A word, and I kind of like see it when I'm closing my eyes, I kind of like see it on my left side for some reason. And then I'll say, okay, focus on this word, and I'll see it on my right side. Because then I'm going to ask you to go into the gap, go between the 2 words, and be in the gap of it for a moment. And we'll do this for just a few minutes. And then we are going to chant the name of God, but it's going to be the ah. And Elise, I really need your help on that one. You don't want me chanting by myself. So we're going to chant the name God, ah. Okay? And then we'll go to a couple more words, and then we'll end it. We'll make it brief. But I hope you'll enjoy it. I love doing this meditation. So just sit comfortably. Take a couple of deep breaths. Relax your shoulders. Relax your body. I want to invite you to see the word hour. Visualize the word hour in your mind's eye. Focus on that word, hour. Now, place your attention on the word Father. Move over to the word Father and place all attention on Father. See that word. Now shift your attention to the center between your 2 words. And this is your center of source. Feel that space. Now, if you would, join with me in the name of God, Ah. Ah. And again. Now, with your mind's eye, see the word Father. Focus on the word Father. Now focus on the word who. See the word who in your mind's eye. And now quickly go to the gap in between the 2 words and stay focused on the gap. We'll do one more. Focus on the word who. See the word who in your mind. Now move to the word art. See art. And now quickly go to the center between the 2, into the gap. Oh, Thank you. You can take time to come back, open your eyes. Okay, thanks.
May the blessings of God rest upon me. May God's peace abide in me. May God's presence illuminate my heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide in you. May God's presence illuminate my heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon us. May God's peace abide in us. May God's presence illuminate our hearts now and forevermore. Now and forevermore.
Wow, Nancy, thank you. Thank you. Nancy is one of those individuals that has the courage to show up in so many ways as a teacher, as a youth worker, as a chaplain, so forth. We appreciate you very, very much. And those of you that are with us for the first time today, did you get one of our visitors packages by any chance? If you haven't, please raise your hand. And so we bring our ushers forward, and we've got a video message we'd like to show you as they come forward.
Hi, I'm Courtney, and I'm a member of Unity of Fort Collins. I give to Unity because along with a beautiful community of wonderful individuals, it offers services and programs that inspire me every day. You know, for a church to operate and continue doing its good work, however, it needs our support. So I give from the heart, knowing my contribution keeps the doors open for all to be able to experience this wonderful church community. Use the QR code on your screen or go to unityfc.org and choose Give.
So it's time for our offering. So let's go ahead and take our offering in our hands and hold it next to our hearts. And we're grateful for all that's been provided to us. And let's bless our offering. Thine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. So thank you, Elise. So we have one more thing. We have some Unity Youth back there somewhere. I'm waiting for them. Are they going to come in and see us? Oh yeah, they're coming. So let's sing them in together.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah. Here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, yeah, yeah. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
So today we talked about beauty and an object that we saw this morning that we thought was beautiful, but that some people might not see as beautiful. And well, when we were making masks, me and Gabe made another mess. Yeah. And this time it was a little more controlled. Just a little.
Okay. Someone else want to share?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
No? You do? Okay, good.
Today we talked about beauty, and some people don't see it in some ways.
Do you see it? Yeah, good. Okay, well, thank you for being here, and thank each and every one of you for being here on this Sunday morning. So let's go ahead and go to your parents, and we're going to circle up and join hand in hand as we close our service. Okay, together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.